Okay, hello on the road students. We are going to continue with the lesson that we did yesterday on the ethics of travel. So if you go into the ethics of travel section of your Moodle page, you'll find everything you need in the Global Code for Ethics for Tourism. So if you remember what we worked on, sorry, I'm not on the right starting point, is we did the jigsaw of it on Monday, and today's Tuesday, so we're going to move on to start talking about this idea, the reading informational text. And so this is the Iowa Core Standard. Analyze and evaluate the effectiveness of the structure an author uses in his or her exposition or argument, including whether the structure makes points clear, convincing, and engaging. So this is basically the exact same standard that we did with narrative, except it's with informational text, and the focus is shift to making points clear, so we are easily understandable, convincing, meaning that we would obviously be convinced of some idea or some concept, and engaging, like what parts of the text are really trying to get us to be interested and try to figure some of that stuff out. So this is our text, right? I'm going to bring it down if you remember it. The Global Code of Ethics for Tourism. And I just want you to review it. I want you to kind of go through it and ask yourselves a couple of questions. One would be, what are the dominant features of the text? By the way, this lesson is on Moodle as well if you wanted to go back and read through it. How does the text seem to be organized? What are the strengths and weaknesses of how the author communicates his or her ideas? So those would be some of the things you might want to think about as you skim back through. I'm not going to stop the video for you to do that because I think we can move on to kind of our next steps. And so next step would be basically using the same text structures analysis sheet. This says at the top that it's for the thing we're going to do on Wednesday. Don't worry too much about that title up there. But it's that same exact document, right? It's what type of text is it? What are the features of the text? Identify examples of different text structures. I think one of the things that's missing from the other one is I think we had theme on there. So you might start thinking about main idea if you're thinking about being convinced of something. And then these are the text structures, and then evaluate and explain how the structures of the text makes ideas clear, convincing, and engaging. And so this document you actually are going to fill out for this just as a practice. We will submit it to Shobi for accountability purposes, and then we will also be doing an assessment on Wednesday for this if you're in my Wednesday class. Block day, I guess is what I should have said. So this document here is the informational text analysis. It has the high school structures, high school level structures and examples, and the text features examples. So this is the structure example, and it's a little big for the camera right now, so I'm going to try to bring it down to you a little bit. And what I like about this is it gives the definition, the critical words that you might see in that type of text, a graphic organizer to help you visualize it, and then a high school example of what that might look like. But essentially, that's a good resource for you as we start to do this reading informational analysis. And then the features of the text is something that kind of any text would have some of these. They wouldn't necessarily have all of them. So you would be thinking about which ones are appropriate to the text that you're looking at. And then also thinking about clear, convincing, and engaging. How are these things helping to communicate the idea that you're looking at? So if we go back to our lesson and we look at our text, what kind of text is it? Is it exposition, which would be expository writing to explain or analyze information? Would it be argument? Purpose of argument writing is to provide or prove the validity of an idea. Persuasion is about to imply some kind of action or to persuade someone to believe something. Description is to recreate, invent, or visually represent a person, place, event, or action. And narration is to tell a story, right, or narrate the event. We probably are going to be focusing with this document on these two and to start thinking about what is actually happening there. And it might have elements of both. So that's something you might consider. And then we might see how is it organized? What are some of the structures in the informational text that we have? This link, if you're on the will take you to, actually it didn't take me where it was supposed to go, so maybe that link doesn't work anymore, but use the ones on the Moodle page. So are there elements of description, problem solution, sequence, comparison contrast, cause and effect? So that would be your section where you try to find some examples. And then start thinking about the features of the text as well. what features does the document contain? How well do the features of the text make it clear, convincing, engaging? Why do you think so? And all of that would lead us to that last little section of the document that we are filling out, where you give your explanation, right? So I think actually that's might be what the next slide is. You would want to write your explanations of this in that last box, and then submit that to Shobi. And then we want to think a little bit. If I was here, we'd debrief this together and talk about how understanding all of this stuff helps us to evaluate the text we read and write, and then start connecting that to the research that we're going to be working on. But ultimately, this is the task of the day. We're going to apply the same strategies to 2 texts for the block day, and you're going to be talking about why one is more convincing than the other. So it's probably pretty good for you to get a sense of it through this document. All right, thank you, and look out for the next lessons coming down the pike.